Gentlemen, last video we said we'd make a Friday the 13th movie tier list, and that is this video. And this is long overdue anyway, with it being our favorite film franchise. Anyway, let's go back to 1980 with the original Friday the 13th.
Usually the original is the best in most film franchises, but Friday is a weird case where the sequels show up the original. And even back in 1980 when this came out, it was still kind of bland. The acting sucks, but it's a Friday the 13th movie, so I'm not expecting an Oscar or anything, but some effort would be nice. Really, only Betsy Palmer is putting in any effort as Pamela Voorhees, and even she suffers due to the sequels. Jason makes his own mother look boring in comparison.
Holy shit, it's Jason.
Donald, you shouldn't have said that. Now we're all gonna fucking die.
What the fuck did you just say about my mother?
Oh God, this is awkward. Is that really how you talk?
Yeah. Is there a problem?
Well, not really a problem, but I can see why you don't talk much. Cause, well, how do I say this?
You sound like fucking Ben Shapiro, and not in a good way.
Well, yeah, that.
I'm gonna fucking slam you both against a tree. Wait a second. Are you guys making a Friday the 13th tier list?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I can let you guys live for a little longer. So, where are you thinking of putting the original?
Well, I think...
I wasn't fucking asking you. You deformed mango. I was asking Obama and Corey, mainly because I voted for Obama and because I'm a Slipknot fan. I listened to them while I'm killing people. But the fact that they didn't talk shit about my mom helps.
Well, thanks, I guess. And personally, I think the original is B tier. Trump was right that it is kind of bland aside from Betsy Palmer. But you still have to put respect on this movie as it's the original. And of course, it still has some things great about it, like Kevin Bacon getting an arrow through the neck. Tom Savini is the fucking king of practical effects in horror movies. But aside from the arrow and axe kill, a lot of kills are done off screen, and of course the biggest glaring issue with this film, there's no Jason. This movie acts more like a whodunit movie more than a Friday movie. For that I say B tier, but it's uphill from here. Well, mostly.
Yeah, I agree with B tier. And I guess thanks for being a fan. I don't really know how I feel about you listening to Slipknot while you commit daily homicide, but I guess we get more album sales. Why the fuck am I defending this?
You're defending it so I don't take your head off.
Well, I guess so, yeah. Sorry, it's just really hard to be intimidated by that voice.
Yeah, come on, Jason. There's no way that's your real voice.
Okay, fine. It was fun for a while, but I guess it's not funny anymore. I just like to mess with people. Anyway, let's move on to Friday the 13th, Part 2. My first movie is The Killer. For that, it deserves at least A tier.
I fucking knew that wasn't your real voice.
It was a pretty good Shapiro impression, though.
You two have one collective brain cell. Just shut the fuck up and rank the movie before I ram a spear through both your taints and turn you both into a human kebab.
I would not be opposed to it if you ever want to do that. But you didn't hear that from me. Anyway, Part 2 is better than Part 1, but I don't think enough to put it in a separate tier. Though the baghead look is now iconic within the fandom, Jason is only on screen for like 15 minutes in this film. And a lot of the kills don't feel like a different person is doing them. It just feels like they're reusing Savini's work for Pamela's kills and did them again. Exact same camera angles, too. I get that Jason learned his killing style from his mother, but the two are still different. And yet the kills in this could be swapped out for Pamela. Jason is supposed to be way stronger than his mom. Sorry, but this movie is only B tier. It's not the Jason we love yet.
Well, I guess I can see that. But this was only my first try, and to be fair, you can't deny that spearing those two while they're trying to bang was an awesome kill.
Yeah, that is a great kill, but it's still nothing compared to what Jason is really capable of. And I wish we got more time with the baghead mask. We only get 15 minutes and then he ditches it for the hockey mask in Part 3. Though the hockey mask is the best mask in cinema history, and I mean no disrespect to it. I wish we had some more time with baghead Jason. I agree with Obama. Just slap Part 2 into B tier and move on to Part 3.
Okay, this is a step in the right direction, but still not perfect yet. I'll start with the good shit. We finally get the hockey mask, and Jason is on screen more in this one. He is still hidden at times, which is annoying when you know what he looks like, but still. This movie gave Jason his iconic axe gash in the mask, providing some much-needed continuity to the Friday series, but this movie still isn't S tier. Given that it was made for 3D and today, unless you have a 3D TV or cheap paper glasses, then you're going to watch this movie in 2D. Meaning all the shots that would look awesome in 3D looks so fucking cheesy. And this movie has characters just show up so Jason can get a higher body count. Well, all movies do that, but part 3 is the worst offender with that biker gang. They're only there for Jason to kill them. Though an improvement on part 1 and 2, it's still only an A tier.
I fucking hate it when you make sense.
LOL, stay mad, bitch! Just put part 3 in A tier and move on to the final chapter.
Wow, this tier list went quick. We're on the final movie already?
Does anyone else want to tell him, or should I?
Joe, the final chapter is not the last Friday movie. We still have 8 more movies after this one.
Wait, what? Then why is it called the final chapter?
Donald's the so-called businessman. Why don't you ask him? This movie isn't the final movie for the same reason Melania is still his wife. Money.
Yeah, but they didn't know that at the time, so when they made this movie, they knew it had to be the best one yet. And oh my God, it was. We actually have Jason on screen for most of the movie. Ted White plays Jason perfectly. He's only second to Kane Hodder. Rest in peace, Ted White. Though production of this movie was apparently not great, I'd say it was worth it. Tom Savini came back to do the practical effects, and it really shows. Every drop of blood in this movie looks fucking perfect. Corey Feldman as Tommy Jarvis is a great counterpart to Jason in this movie. Every other character is still a piece of fucking wood, but who the fuck cares? We don't watch these movies for the victims. We watch them for Jason, and holy shit, he is at his scariest in this movie. Fucking breaking through doors, appearing out of nowhere from underwater, and that fucking death was so fucking good. I'm honestly happy it's not the last Jason movie, but even if it was, I'd be fine with it. This movie is S tier.
I agree with S tier, but unfortunately it's all downhill from here. Because next is the glorified side movie that is part 5, A New Beginning. God, this movie is so fucking dumb. Tommy Jarvis doesn't say anything throughout the whole movie. A psyche ward allows a violent patient to have an axe. What the fuck do you expect is going to happen? That fat fuck deserved what he got. And for some reason, that's Roy's motivation to dress up as Jason and kill, just because his stupid-ass son, who never knew him, got himself killed for something that was his fault in the first place. The only good part of the movie is the kills and I'd rather not say the last part.
The sex scenes, Donald. Say it. You love the sex scenes. The amount of on-screen boobs in this movie definitely made this worth watching. S tier those titties now.
Joe, you do know that one of the actresses was also a teacher, and she lost her job for doing a nude scene in this movie? Poor woman.
Worth it.
Fucking hell. Now I just want to get this over with. Though this movie has its problems and some plot holes, like why does Roy pretend to be Jason when he's never fucking seen him or has any connection to him? And don't fucking say that Roy might be Jason's father. Jason and Roy are close to the same age. I don't think this movie is as bad as Donald does, but I still think it's bland. So I say B tier.
B tier is way too high. C tier or this whole list is fucked.
Fuck off, you orange. Intellectually challenged. Stapled wig. Porn star fucking. Tangerine. Yeah, this movie has problems, but it's still not bad. We will get closer to the C tiers when we hit the New Line era, but New Beginning goes into B tier. If you're mad about it, then go fucking cry about it. Next is Part 6, Jason Lives. Now this is the best of the franchise. The characters aren't just planks of wood. A good number of them are actually decent characters. It actually has stakes with the camp being full of kids instead of empty this time, and I'm at my best in this movie. The mask is perfect. I don't move like a human, but more like a fucking tank. All that's missing from this movie's Jason is the savagery that Kane Hodder brought to the role. But everything about this movie is S tier. I mean, do you remember when I stood on a burning caravan? Most badass moment in slasher film history.
Damn right. Not to mention that awesome Alice Cooper song that was made for this movie. Speaking of Alice Cooper, why the fuck haven't we made an Alice Cooper album tier list?
We will eventually, but there's a lot of stuff I want to do for our channel. Anyway, back to the movie. Part 6 is hands down the best of the series. S tier, no questions asked. Now moving on to Part 7, The New Blood. This is Kane Hodder's first time as Jason, and it's amazing. Kane brings the intimidating stature and the absolute brutality to play Jason. Kane plays Jason like a fucking savage force of nature, and that's exactly how he should be played. And this movie has Jason's best kill, the sleeping bag kill. This movie isn't S tier as it does have some cheesy thing about it, like that superpowers exist in the slasherverse out of nowhere, and this movie basically becomes Jason versus Carrie by the end of it, but the kills are still awesome. Although aside from the sleeping bag kill, they feel kind of tame. There's not enough gore in this movie, but this is still the best Jason's ever looked with the mask, makeup, and Kane playing him. The New Blood goes to A tier.
I won't argue with you, but you're letting me have this next one. Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Or as it should be called, Jason on a fucking boat, then 20 minutes in New York. None of the kills have any gore. The kid Jason hallucinations are just dumb. And the characters in this movie, oh my fucking God. Usually college kids in Friday movies are dumb as shit, but the ones in this movie are so fucking dumb that I wonder how they didn't fall off the boat before Jason got to them. Once again, Kane Hodder is the only good part of this movie. Fucking D tier!
I'll put it in C tier as I don't think it's horrible, just cheesy. That scene with Jason standing in Times Square was badass, but still the best part of this mediocre movie. And also because D tier and F tier are reserved for these next two films. Go ahead, Donnie. Just put Jason Goes to Hell into F tier?
I think you mean the Killer Penis movie. Think about this. New Line are planning Freddy versus Jason. They get the rights to make Jason movies, and the first thing they do is fucking kill him off in the first 15 minutes and have his spirit be some weird penis monster that goes around possessing people. Fucking F tier, and moving on to Jason X, also fucking F tier?
Donald, shut the fuck up. This movie is C tier. Unlike Jason Goes to Hell, it's an actual Jason movie just set in space. We get so much cool stuff from this movie, like Uber J, Asen, the liquid nitrogen kill, actual confirmation that Jason has a healing factor, and android boobs.
Oh my God, Joe, can you focus on one thing in these movies besides the tits? And no, this is not C tier, this is D tier. It's just too fucking cheesy. The CGI sucks. Aside from the liquid nitrogen face smash, there's not a single good kill in the movie, and usually taking Jason out of Crystal Lake doesn't really work, as Part 8 showed. It's going into D tier, and we're moving on to Freddy versus Jason.
Oh yeah. The movie I kicked Freddy's ass in.
You need to stop spreading this fake news, you deformed virgin.
That's my thing, you burn-ass kid killer.
How do people just randomly join our Discord server?
Joe left the server on public. Fucking anyone can join and also hear everything you're saying. Speaking of that, Donald, you might want to mute your mic when it's Melania's birthday. You fucking gave me, of all people, nightmares.
Oh my fucking God.
Moving on from that, Jason, you need to stop lying to yourself. We both know that it wasn't you that beat me.
No, you're right, I didn't. You got killed by one of the stupidest characters in slasher movie history, leaving me to fish your head out of Crystal Lake. How does it feel to be killed by a dumb blonde Freddy? Fucking hilarious.
I fucking hate you. And you four bitches better start ranking the movie. If it's not at least A tier, then I will haunt all your fucking nightmares.
Yeah, A tier works. To be fair, it is kind of a stretch because the acting is fucking horrible. And Jason is definitely not scared of water. Whoever came up with that needs to be fired. Also, I wish Kane Hodder could have played Jason here. But everything else is great here. The CGI, while still bad, is a step up from Jason X. Robert Englund, as always, steals the whole movie as Freddy. And the final fight makes it all worth it. Nothing is more badass to a horror fan than watching Jason and Freddy get in a fucking wrestling match with each other. Not to mention that awesome metal soundtrack with bands like Slipknot, Murder Dolls, Lamb of God, Seether, Mushroom Head, and Spine Shank all being on the soundtrack.
That soundtrack was awesome. Also, I can agree with A tier. Sure, it's cheesy and the acting is bad, but you're going to this movie to watch Jason and Freddy kick each other's asses. You know what you're gonna get. Okay, moving on to the final film. The 2009 remake. I'm not really a huge fan of remakes because I prefer original work, but this remake is the exception. It takes all the best parts from part 1 to 4 and makes arguably the scariest movie of the series. Many would disagree, but I would consider this S tier. Though Derek Mears is no Kane Hodder, he does play Jason as intimidating as possible.
I don't like remakes, so I say this movie deserves no higher than D tier. It's a story that's already been told.
You're only saying that because your remake was a crime against nature and mine was good.
Shut the fuck up. We don't talk about that abomination.
Well, we're more than likely going to make a Nightmare on Elm Street tier list, so eventually we'll have to talk about that crime against my eyes. But for now, we're still in the franchise that got the remake right. This movie blends everything that made the first 4 movies classics into one movie. Jason is played realistic and is at his scariest aside from when Kane played him. The victims are actual people instead of talking cardboard cutouts, and the gore was so fucking good in this movie, God, I've missed the practical effects.
Not to mention the amount of nude scenes in this movie, especially the director's cut. Fucking S tier.
Joe, stop being a perv. Anyway, S tier may be a bold statement, but if Joe, Donnie, and Corey all agree, then I guess that makes it S tier. And with that, we're done with Friday the 13th. Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to subscribe and all that shit, and let us know what we should rank next.
You better fucking rank my movies next.
Oh my fucking God, just end the video.